Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the DCNY podcast, the Discussing Crazy and Marvelous Images podcast. I am your host, Raymond. This is Jacob again. Today, we are going to be reading the Department of Truth, issue 34 by James Tinian IV. If you do not know what we do here, we read individual issues of comics and we grade them on four things. We grade them on the story, the artwork, characters, and if we're going to keep reading it or not. 1 through 5. This one should be a good one because I know that you were excited for this one specifically, Jacob. So why don't you start with the story? How'd you feel about it?
So,
Yeah.
5 out of 5 for me.
Yeah.
Just off rip. Obviously, this is and the artist Martin Simmons and Joshua
Oh,
Hickson.
yeah. Thank you.
I'll be
Thank you.
mentioning them a couple of times, but so this is issue 34, right? So
Yeah.
obviously, like, we're way into the series that started in September of 2020. So going into this, I knew that there was going to be characters or plots that I'm just lost in, right? That
Yep.
I wouldn't understand. But this story, again, without researching the previous 33 issues on purpose, you just take it as a standalone. Something happened in modern day world, particularly in the United States of America, where either, I don't know, aliens came from space, or there was some genetic
Outbreak or
viral
something.
outbreak or
Yeah,
something, or
yeah.
a combination thereof.
Yep.
But there are these creatures that exist among humans, and humans are, well, at least those in the Department of Truth are very much aware of these creatures,
Yep.
and we don't know if
And
they
they
have powers.
said they walk like humans and stuff. They behave like humans, right?
They behave like,
Is that what it said? Okay.
Some of them looked very much like a human, like what they call the star-faced man.
The Star-faced man. Yeah.
And then there was a creature that was living in the basement of these two characters that ate veal, that it was implied that it ate human.
Yeah. That's what I thought too. Yeah.
So, and that one doesn't look human. It has human-like features, like eyes and nose and mouth and hair, but yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so years and years ago, maybe 70 plus or however many years ago, something happened, and the United States government created a new agency, the Department of Truth, and supposedly it's going to be like, I don't know, the conspiracy theorists' wet dream, where they say, okay, these conspiracies.
That's a great way of describing it. Are real. That's exactly a good way to describe it. That's perfect.
It's like
That's
Alex
perfect.
Jones be like, I want to live here, you know?
Yeah, it's literally the Department of Truth. I would describe it as if you just cracked open Alex Jones's brain and just sift for information. That's how I feel about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
your
so
crazy ass uncle's mind is just what this is,
and it's validated because there are these creatures. So there are things that are otherworldly beyond just the mundane day-to-day stuff, and they have higher ups and different ranking people. On pages 8 and 9 we see like a handful of people like in an elevator, and it looks like a buggy full of aliens. I don't know if those are real or mannequins.
I think they are.
They're real. They're
like dead. I think
corpses.
Yeah. Given the rest of the fucking comic book, I'm assuming that those are real.
Just experimented on. Then you have the star-faced guy who immediately, Raymond, who did he remind you of immediately?
Yeah, I know. The Q shaman.
Right?
Yeah. Immediately. 1000%.
I was like, hold up.
If you're an awesome person and you don't know who that is, this is who the fuck that is. And if you don't know why this guy is infamous,
right,
you should do some Googles because it's crazy. Anyway, go ahead.
So
that's exactly who I thought immediately was the Q shaman. Immediately.
But he's walking freely in, this government building that's the Department of Truth, interacting with people. So there are some creatures that are like scary or evil or wicked, and then there are others that are valued by the government officials. So the story is basically that there's this new agency that does clandestine work, investigations, experimentations, testing all this stuff on the things that can
getting rid of conspiracies, getting rid of people. Yep.
And I loved it because I was like, it's on the nose where, hey, there's this Department of Truth, right? And you say, haha, it's kind of like ironic that the government would create an agency with that name, but at the same time that you're seeing right away that there's other stuff. So this department does something. It's not just for name and show.
Yep. So I was really trying to be fair with this because, I read the first 10 issues. And then, life just started life and I just kind of fell off. Not because I
A
wasn't
while ago.
a while ago. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's not because the story, I didn't like, the series or anything. I just, I don't remember what was going on, but, you know, I just got caught up in other things. And so I just stopped reading it. So I kind of know a little bit of what's going on with the Department of Truth and everything. The man they're hunting down, Cole, he was the main character from the beginning of the series that I recognized. So I was like, okay, we're still kind of dealing with the same people, but it's very weird, like you said, jumping in issue 34, because I kind of get it and I'm putting things together, but I have no idea what they're talking about or what's going on, right? And I mean, that's the nature of
Mm,
what we're doing. But I gave the story a 2.5 because I really wanted to be right down the
okay.
middle because I don't want to act like I fully understood what the story was, right? Because not reading the first or last couple of issues, obviously you're gonna know a lot less, but I want to be fair because I know the story's good
Mm,
unless something dramatically has changed. I know this is a good story, but the nature of the way that they tell this story in this comic book, you're just not going to be able to get everything from one issue.
okay.
And I want to be
Yeah.
fair with that, right? Which might be cheating a little bit, but I just really wanted to be fair with this comic book specifically because I know it's good, So
I
yeah, that's
I
why I gave it a 2.5.
I understand also, like, I've had friends that let's say there's a movie trilogy or something, right? And the second one is out, and I saw the first one, and I'm going to see the second one, and they haven't seen the first one. It's like two people. One is like, I don't know who's who, what's what. I'm so frustrated. This is boring. I hate this. I want to get out of here. Then there's
Yep.
people like, oh shit,
That's
I
this
now need.
person.
Now I need to watch the first one so I could even enjoy the second one even more so.
Yep.
So you calling like down the middle, it kind of I perceive that it's intriguing enough where okay, I'm interested in it, but I acknowledge that I'm kind of lost
Yeah,
and it's not
absolutely.
as
That's a great way of
enjoyable,
saying it.
you know.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm interested, but just if I'm going based on what I learned in this issue that I understood, I guess maybe is a better way to say it. Not a lot, but I know that it's good. So leave it
Yeah.
at that one. All
Okay.
right. Now this one I'm excited for. What did you think about the artwork?
Do you want to go first?
No, you go first. You go
Okay.
first. Yeah, yeah.
Artwork, I'm going to do 5 out of 5 again.
Yeah.
The artwork, so this is Martin Simmons and then primarily in Joshua Hickson, but man, I don't know how to describe this. It's kind of like a mismatch
I know
of
how to describe it.
watercolors, semi-realism,
Yep.
textured artwork where something like you can feel the paper.
Yep.
I love that the backgrounds were kind of washed out. They were
Mm-hmm.
usually like gray or white, blue, kind
Yep.
of very
No
earth,
detail really for the
no
most part.
detail, earthy
Yep.
tones. But then if there was a character that was the highlight of the panel, the face was much more refined or
Yep.
contrastful,
Yep.
detailed. And then also there was like a lot of warm colors used to kind of like draw your attention to either the face or maybe a room or object that they're holding. Like, and all throughout, like there's one thing, page 12, what's his name? The Doc Brown, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Doc Brown, he had that tinfoil hat.
Yep.
Like that alone stood out so beautifully
Yeah, because
against,
it kind of looks almost real.
yes,
Like they look,
like you can touch it.
it looks like they cut out tinfoil from an ad
Right.
and put it in there. That's what it
Yep.
reminds me of. Because it almost looks like it's not a part of the art.
Yeah. I'm not like, what's the technique that they used to, I think they probably did what you said. Like
Yeah.
either,
South
got it
Park.
from an ad or South Parked it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's so contrastful. And then there was one, was it page 14 to 15? And there's this, I couldn't find her name in this issue, but the power suit lady, the blue
Yep.
suit lady.
Yep.
So it was a contrasting thing. She had on a cross, like a Christian cross
Yep.
pendant.
Yep.
Her shoes were bloody, like she'd been
Oh, I didn't even
stomping
really
on.
realize that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
She's either walking through blood or stomped on someone
Yeah.
or
That's a
whatever.
cool detail. I did not notice that.
And so she's talking on the phone to, I think her name is Ruby.
Yep.
And she was saying, oh, yeah, we burned the school to, like bragging that they
Yeah,
burned the
burn
school
the
to the
school to the
ground.
ground is
Implying
devious.
also that there might have been people at that time.
Absolutely implying that 1000%.
because there's a guy in the background. She's like either like a spec ops or a hit squad leader, and the guy's like holding his rifle over his, his
Yep.
shoulders.
Yep.
But there was one panel when she had like a wicked smile on her face and like beaming, like a gleam in her eyes.
Oh,
It's kind of
yeah.
like
She looks like kind of like Satan. It's
she got
crazy.
excited about what she was saying.
That's
Like,
crazy. That's good. That's good. You
yeah,
know what's funny about her though, specifically? Not funny. It's pretty dope, actually. Her fucking hair looks like it's on fire.
yes,
Like I kept
yes,
thinking that. I was like, that is a cool. I've never seen a design like that before,
you're right.
where her hair just looks like fire. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
When she's
especially
standing like power
yeah,
stance in it,
the very
Yeah,
first. Yeah.
pretty cool.
I didn't notice that, but it has the flick of like
Yeah, a
flames,
full flame. Yeah,
Yeah, so the artwork, I mean, my God, it's I loved it.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I have to agree with you 1000%. I also gave it a 5. Yeah, there's just not a lot like it, honestly.
mhm,
At least that I'm aware of. Let me not say there's not, because there probably is. It's so weird because for me, it feels like one of those comics where I don't even really feel I don't care about this story, right? In the sense
mhm,
of when I'm looking at this artwork, I'm so into the artwork that I don't care about what's going on with the story. I'm flipping each
mhm,
page to see what's happening with the artwork.
right,
You know what I mean? So for me, it's just so unique. And like you said, not a lot of detail in the background. I wrote down it felt simple, but with so much detail at the exact same time. And
yeah,
I couldn't really find another way to say that other than that. But it is so simple. Like there is not a lot of details with the background. You really don't know where most of the people are. They're
mhm,
kind of mostly just in front of a blank canvas or whatever, right?
yeah,
Like there's no actual detail of what room they're in. But even with that lack of detail about where they're going or what room they're in, whatever, it's just so fascinating how much detail they put in to making you focus specifically on a character in a panel, right?
yeah,
Because you got to think like what we were reading with Battle World and Green Lantern, there's just so much going on that you almost can't like judge anything because there's just so much going on. But
mhm,
this, they are making you specifically
yeah,
just
focus.
look from panel to panel and maintaining that focus and maintaining that ability, I guess, is
Mhm.
just really highlights to me how intentionally they did this. And I appreciate it. And like I said, I agree with you because it's I can't even really compare it to anything else. You know what I mean? Like
Uh,
it's just that unique. I
the
love it.
so we're both writers, right? We're not artists. I'll speak.
Yeah.
I'm not an artist.
I'm
I
not an
can't
artist
draw that.
either. That'd be a damn lie if I said I was.
But I 100% agree. I read this the very first time I read this normally, like, like page to page. But then I said, okay, I'm just gonna enjoy the artwork. And I just flipped through and looked at the page. I ignored
Absolutely.
the dialogue and captions,
Right.
and particularly like on what is it? I think page 16 and 17. So in my opinion, is that the art conveyed more of a story than anything else. So you see like the Starman, and you see like a tattoo on him, right?
Yeah.
And the Illuminati eye or whatever,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
incorporated
Yep.
in the department's seal, their
Yep.
signia.
Yep.
And then in the lower panel on that page, in the background, it almost looks like if I can liken it to a digital image that's
Oh,
digitizing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good. I didn't notice that. Yeah. Yep.
When I saw that, I was like, there's something about him that's a facade. There's like
Yep.
pixelation or something. Like he has a mask on. You can't really see his face, obviously.
Yep.
And then the next page, you see Cole and Maddie. So they're a couple and they're in bed, but it's very dark and dreary. And you can tell that they're worried, they're anxious, they're uncomfortable. They're like, "What's going on?" So it was kind of like I can tell a little bit about the character's personality just from the art
Yeah.
style itself.
Yeah. I agree. For all of these panels to actually just feel like if you remove the words and maybe just
Yeah,
put each panel like blew it up, all of these could be pieces of art in
yeah,
some exhibit somewhere. You know what I
yep,
mean? That's pretty cool that you've created a comic book that is so uniquely artful that it
yep.
could stand on its own and be, pieces of art, I guess. I don't know how else to say it, but it's impressive. It really is. Like hats
Cool.
off to the whole team for coming up with this idea and executing it the way that they have. It's pretty remarkable. So 5
Yeah,
out of 5 for me on the artwork.
excellent.
Yep.
Okay, so next would be characters.
Yes, sir.
I've started the first two. Ray, you go ahead and start this one.
Yeah. So I again in the honor of being fair, I gave this a 3 for the characters.
Okay.
And it was a similar reason as for the story, right? I only knew who one character was, and that was Cole, right? And I didn't learn really a lot about any of the other characters, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
At least the ones that were on page, right? So I had to be fair for that reason, but in the same reason for the story, I know that each one of these characters is significant. And I know that this is the appetizer. It's hard to judge this comic book differently than the other ones we've read just because this series and story specifically doesn't behave like a normal comic book, right? Because I would say for the majority of pick a Batman, the current Batman run, for instance, when you go to a new issue, yes, the story continues, but for the most part, things kind of reset, right? Where you can read an issue by issue and kind of not feel too lost. You know what I mean? But I
Mm-hmm.
know that this story specifically and this comic specifically, you have to be reading it and keep up with it to get the full picture. And I want to, be fair about that, because I know that this comic book is much more in depth than your average comic book. And I know that there's a lot more explaining that this does with these characters. That's why I gave it a 3, because I didn't really know too much different at the end of it than I did at the beginning with the characters.
Yeah. So we had similar thoughts because I gave it a 3.5. And I gave it a good amount above average, but not like a 4 or 5 because, yeah, I got an idea of these characters. Like Cole, it looks like he used to work for the department, but now he's like a rogue agent or something, and people are
Yep.
out trying to find him.
Yep.
Doc Brown is kind of like, he's eccentric, but he knows stuff and he trusts or has a good relationship with Maddie and Cole, like they're living on his land that he bought with just cash years ago. So he had this whole, he has like layers of protection
Right. And
and
he like had a
anonymity.
car that he parked and didn't
Yeah.
drive for years
Yep.
or whatever
For
until that
years.
one
Yeah, since the
specific
70s, he
day.
said.
That is,
So I think, yeah, he's very intelligent and he's like forward thinking, but eccentric.
yep.
And then Ruby, so we were introduced to her, and it seemed like some people were being fired.
Yes.
One person
Yep.
made a change in administration, so I'm going to assume like either the president or the,
Yeah, I think that's
legislation.
exactly what it was. I think it was
Yeah.
like presidential change.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're doing some like reorganizations, but she apparently is not being fired. She's staying on.
Which is
But
not real to real life because the black lady's getting fired first.
yes,
Let's be fucking real.
I was like, I think they're trying to cover some,
Yes.
undertones of,
I agree
like
with you. Yeah.
we acknowledge that, yeah, she would be the first to be fired. So for that reason, we're not going to fire her in
We're
this
not
series.
gonna do it.
We're not going to do it.
Mhm.
Especially with that dude with the hat that some lady Francine called like, you little Nazi
Oh, yeah,
incel,
yeah.
worm,
Yep.
whatever.
What did she say to him? You can go. Is crazy.
Mhm. And
Like hearing that actually come out of somebody's mouth, I'd be like, what? Your mother's. There's a lot actually wrong with that sentence, but I'm not going to unpack it here. There's a
And
lot
she-
wrong with that sentence, though.
And she also said, you're going to, when you get a real taste of the world, you incel freak.
Yeah,
So-
I was desperately curious about what the hell was going on with that interaction, because this
Yeah.
feels like something that we definitely would
Have-
find out or something has happened in previous issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so a guy like that, it looks like either he's being promoted or he's definitely not getting fired, right?
Yeah.
But a dude like that working in the same office as Ruby, a black woman that it seems like virtuous.
Yeah.
Like when she was talking to the power suit lady, like, you told us that the creature was here. No, I didn't say that. I said
Right.
he
I said
might
it
be
might
there.
be there. Yep.
I didn't tell you
Yep.
to torch a effing school, you bitch. Like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Yep.
So all these characters, I got a little glimpse of kind of their personality or their role within the broader context of the Department of Truth. But still, I don't know who they are, their backstories, just from this issue. So I can't give it a really high score.
Yeah. And honestly, I couldn't quite figure out what they were talking about. Was the internet out or something?
No, no.
Was it like a blackout or?
So, Maddie, I think, works for like a newspaper, he said.
Yeah.
So he's like either a reporter, investigative journalist, and he was on the computer, and Cole came in and said, I told you not to get on the internet. He said, I'm not on the internet, I'm not connected to anything. So I think the internet's there, but it's probably state owned in
Okay.
this
Okay.
timeline.
Okay.
And everything's
Yeah.
tracked. And yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I
That's
guess
why I
I'm
also
just
like
wondering what he was connected to then if he wasn't connected to the
nothing. He
internet.
was just on a computer with he turned off his Wi-Fi or
Oh, he was
whatever
just
it is.
okay. Yeah, sure. All right.
Yeah.
I
He
accept
was
it.
trying to write something, and he said, I can't even get into my Microsoft Word because
Right.
it's requiring me to have an account.
Yeah.
So maybe he's using
Which
Notepad or
is
something.
that true? Can you not use Microsoft Word without an account? I honestly don't recall.
There was a time years ago that you could just get it as a standalone application, but
Yeah.
now it's
Yeah.
tied to to get all
Your
the
Microsoft account and all that. That's
right
crazy to think about. You can't even use Microsoft Word like just
without
on its own anymore. That's
being tied to
crazy.
and that's why like Doc, you mentioned that car he had. He said this is like an old school car,
Yep.
no
No, like no.
GPS, no
Yep. Yep.
yeah, no tracking.
Yep.
But
Cool
there's
detail.
one character, Raymond, and if you can, I want you to put some screen grabs. The last page or two, there's these two older dudes that were some higher ups in the government, and they were talking about, well, I think we need to talk to Lee, who was like a leader or something. But
Yeah.
I think the guy's name is Hawk. I think he's the very last panel.
Yeah.
He looks like a combination from Star Wars. Looks like a combination of Palpatine and Supreme Leader Snoke.
Okay.
When I saw that, it was like, okay, that dude is he's like decrepit, rotting evil.
Yeah. Do you want to laugh at who I thought it looked like? I want you to guess, actually. Give me like 2 guesses on who you think I might think this person looks like.
Okay,
It's a real person. I'll give you that. It's a real person.
Ross
Because I feel like
Perot.
when I say it and you see it, you can't unsee it, is how it feels.
I don't know.
Jordan Peterson.
You're right.
I'm telling you, he looks exactly like Jordan Peterson. Especially that one when he really is
Oh.
looking decrepit and like old and angry and dying and sick. That motherfucker looks like Jordan Peterson. If I just saw that and didn't like, if I saw that and, didn't know it was related to a comic book, I would
Right.
think somebody drew a picture of Jordan Peterson. That is who that is.
What if he had a voice like?
Hi, my name is Jordan Peterson. What is truth? Tell me. We'll see who cancels who. Woke moralist.
And
That
who
was my
knows
Jordan Peterson / Kermit the
this-
Frog.
timeline during the Lincoln Memorial, looking at the big statue, right? And they're talking about we have to talk about the future of this country. He's probably like the vice president or some shit,
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
only, you don't have to be U.S. born to be a president or vice president, but only certain types of people.
Absolutely. And you know what's crazy
Uh.
is this is basically our timeline is the point I'm getting to. It's not even like a joke or whatever. It's not that unbelievable, right? This comic book, when it started, you said 2020, so 6 years ago, when it started, it seemed way more far-fetched.
Well,
You know what I mean? Than it does right now. Now, I'm basically just feel like I'm reading some kind of story about somebody doing something right now in real time. It's not that crazy anymore. It's not.
this is like if like The Onion and SNL wrote jokes and scripts and bits, and then they partnered up with Image Comics to come
Right.
up with a storyline. It's like chugging along side by side with real world news.
Real life. It's wild to think about. Because
Yeah.
like I said, I started reading this when when it came out. I was, there for issue 1, 2, 3, I think up until like 11, which I'm actually upset that I didn't find those before we did this. I should have done that. But yeah, I remember 6 years ago thinking this story was really cool, but how out there it was, right? Like
Mhm.
what did you say earlier? A conspiracy theorist wet dream.
Yes.
Like that's how it felt 6 years ago. And then reading it now, I'm just like horrified that my sense of what's real or what's possible, I should say,
Yeah.
is so much different than it was 6 years ago. You know what I mean?
Which makes you think, even though we don't know this character that much, but Ruby, like I fear for her. I'm like,
She gonna die for
she needs
sure.
protection.
She's gonna die. She's absolutely gonna die at some point. There's no
And
question.
not only that, but blamed for something.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's
labeled
true.
as
She might get put in jail for life, but
yeah.
something's gonna happen to her for sure by the end of this. A
Okay.
black character and a seemingly good character in a sea
Yeah.
of what is terrible characters. She's
Yep.
definitely not long for this comic world. She's not long at all. So
okay,
yeah.
you said 3 and I said 3.5. Okay.
Yep.
So the next category is this issue compelling enough for us to want to keep on reading the series?
Yes.
And-
I said 4 out of 5
4?
on this one. Yep.
Okay.
Not knowing so much is almost compels you to want to read the next issue. You know what I mean? That's how I felt with this comic book specifically, where, you know, some comic books you read one, you're like, oh, there's questions that I don't have answered. All right, that's okay. But with this one, it's like, damn it, I gotta see what happens next. You know, because even if I don't want to, I'm like, damn it, I do kind of want to know though, like what's going on here. So I think it does a very good job of dangling a carrot right out in front of you, you know, giving you just enough information to just kind of want to keep coming back. Very, 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 very good drug dealer on our hands, I think is what that means. Just giving you a little taste so you come back for more.
Yeah.
They got me. They for sure got me. I'm hooked.
That's the MO.
I'm hooked. They got me.
I'll give you the first hit for
4.5. 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
Yep. What about you?
What do y'all think?
Damn.
Like
I did not know
like Department
that
of Truth,
he
Department
went back and got damn. Okay. So then
So-
yes. Yeah.
5 out of 5 for me. I
Yeah.
went to the local our local comic book store and I said, hook me up.
Damn.
I'm gonna
Did you get, are those the back issues?
yes, those so
Okay,
these
you went-
I got issue 35 because I was released in February, and
Yeah.
then there's about 4 missing, and I'm just gonna have the store special order those for me so I can have the whole thing. But
Got you.
like this concept, the artwork, it is
Yeah.
like
Yeah. The concept
It's-
is pretty remarkable. I can't fucking lie. It's a good concept.
and you know I'm not I mean, out of the two of us, you're the fashionable one, Raymond. I just wear solid colored tees. But Image has some merch with like the Department of Truth
Department of Truth logo. That's pretty
logo
cool.
and stuff. I'm like, kind of cool. I might get that.
Yeah.
Have
And it
some
would also be
support.
cool too, because like, and this is not me disrespecting the comic book. I feel like nobody would have any idea what that is on your shirt. You know what I mean?
Right.
People
Right.
would be like, this guy might be in the Illuminati for real. I don't
Right.
know what this is. No, I think it's cool. I think that's dope.
Yeah, so okay. So with that said, the total
Yep.
for you is 14.5 out of 20. And for me,
Damn.
it's 18.5 out of 20. To those categories?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so for story, Raymond is 2.5 out of 5. I'm 5 out of 5. For artwork, we're both 5 out of 5. For characters, Raymond's 3 out of 5. I'm 3.5 out of 5. For keep reading, Raymond's 4 out of 5, and I'm 5 out of 5. So total is 14.5 out of 20 for Raymond and 18.5 out of 20 for myself.
Okay. See, that's crazy though. See, this is why it's kind of interesting the way we've decided to do this, because in my mind, I feel like I enjoyed it way more than I think that 14.5 conveys. You know?
So the story 2.5 out of 5, right? Like we were saying, like you're kind of in the middle where you acknowledge you don't know some of the characters. You wouldn't know the characters that much,
Right.
even if you did read this kind of back, some years ago. But one character, Cole, that was the hitter. But
Yeah.
it's logical, and I understand the reasoning why you scored that way. So, but 14.5 out of 5 is still good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. It's
So-
just usually it's funny because when we do this and we get the scores, I would say the past times my score has, I think, accurately represented how I feel,
okay.
but it's weird. This one, I feel like it's a lot lower than what I want it to be, but you're right. That story is what did it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was good. All right. Thank you for joining us today, everybody. Be on the lookout next week. We have something special going on. We are going to find a local comic book artist from our home state. Fortunately for us, there's, quite a bit of stuff in this state specifically, but it should be fun. We're going to find a local artist from probably Portland, if we're being honest, but not exclusively, doesn't have to be. We're going to get one of their issues, read it, and do the thing we do. But we just really on this channel want to promote, if we can, smaller independent creators, writers, artists, whatever the case may be. So that's what we will try to be doing with these, state reviews.
Oh, like Indie Week or like
Yeah,
independent
Indie Week.
artists. Yeah.
That's the goal of that week specifically, will be to try to highlight somebody not from a major publisher, but somebody,
Someone
from
like
a,
us.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Someone like us. So be on the lookout. Please like, comment on this video, share feedback with us. Please let us know if you have a comic book artist or creator that is in your town that you want us to review
Yes.
their stuff. Because like I said, we definitely want to get all the recommendations we can. We want to get all the info we can, just to really be able to highlight the people that, deserve it, I guess, is a good way to say it. So we will see you guys next week. Jacob, is there anything else you got to say before we get out of here?
No, I enjoyed this comic.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
it.
Me too. All right. Peace.
Peace.